Hello everyone, I am Queen and this is my first live stream on this channel. I do have other videos on here, but this is my first time going live on here, and one of the biggest reasons why I'm deciding to go live. Hey Q, how you doing? um One of the biggest reasons why I'm deciding to go live about this topic in particular is because I do have another YouTube channel where we talk about like more spiritual things, and I kind of touched on this a little bit a couple of years ago, and I had a lot of people in the comment section kind of confused about the message as to what was being said and why it was being said and what it meant and everything like that. The name of the reading that I did, because I am a reader, the name of the reading that I did was Are Men or Be Men Satan, and I used strictly biblical text. I only used the Bible, and I basically just showed everybody what the Bible says about that topic in particular. But last night I was pondering and thinking, and every time like certain people come around me, aka my adult children, I have two of them that I'm really going through a difficult time with right now, and I get triggered, and I know it has a lot to do with the fact that I have not decompressed from a lot of things that I'm discovering and figuring out in this moment. So I wanted to be vulnerable with you guys, which is probably going to be a little bit difficult for me, so please bear with me. But I have some information that I want to share with you, and please be nice in the comment section because I'm being very, very vulnerable. This is a very touchy topic for me, and this could be a very touchy topic for you guys too. So I want you to please take notes if you can. And for those of you who are younger people, I want you to pay attention to these signs, because it's really, really extremely important to take note of who it is that you're deciding to share your body with, your womb with, who you're deciding to procreate with. People do talk about the effects and dangers of it, but they don't tell you how deep it is spiritually, and they don't tell you the consequences that come with that. And it is a very dangerous thing. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of children unaliving their parents and vice versa. Some of that is side effects of that. Okay. So, no, not yet, Q, but I will. I will. Okay, so let's get into this very touchy topic. I suggest that everybody grab a pen and paper because it's going to be a lot of information I'm sharing with you guys. Like I said, do your research, take this information how you want to take it, but this is based off of my own personal experience. So, first of all, I want to talk about the relationship with my high school sweetheart, okay? I was 16. I had just turned 16. I think I had just turned 16, like maybe 3 months into my 16th birthday. And he had just turned 21. And we met. And at first, it was supposed to be a friendship thing, right? But then some things happened between me and my dad's girlfriend. And my dad took her side and kicked me out of the house. And in a way, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of afraid to go back to New York because I had got into some real bad stuff, street stuff. I had a really rough background, and my life was in danger, and my dad kept trying to get me to go back home, but I knew that if I went back home, that would probably be me signing my death certificate. So I refused to go back. I was like, I'm just gonna tough it out. Him being my friend at the time, I knew he liked me, but I was trying to be friends with him, right? So when that situation happened, he was like, well, you can come stay with me. And it kind of turned into more than what it was supposed to be. Now, first things first, I want to say this. Me being a 16-year-old girl at the time, I did not know anything about a lot of the things that I'm getting ready to share with you guys. So the first thing that was my red flag that I didn't recognize as a red flag at the time is he kept me intoxicated. I am going to say that again. When I met this dude, I was a straight A and B student. I was still in high school. I was doing great in school. I was top of my class. I was graduating early. I was supposed to graduate the next year and everything like that. I was a top tier student. When I tell you this guy kept me intoxicated, y'all, he was 21. And I don't know, maybe it was because he was young and he had just turned 21 and he was able to go buy, alcohol or whatever, what have you. But when it came to marijuana and alcohol, this man, I'm talking about, for breakfast, he used to make me a cup of coffee and put shots in my coffee. Okay, it was that bad. Like, he kept, when I say kept me intoxicated, he kept me intoxicated. Now, at one point in our relationship, once we started to sleep together, I thought that he had given me an STD, but I didn't know if it was an STD. I kept getting these weird things that was happening with my body, and I kept going to the doctor, and the doctor kept telling me it's nothing wrong. So I'm like, okay, if it's nothing wrong, why am I getting sick? Like, why is stuff happening to my body that's making it feel like I have an STD? So I'm thinking that he gave me something. So now in my brain, now remember, I'm 16, okay? I'm a 16-year-old little girl. So in my brain, I'm like, okay, well, if he gave me something and I'm in love with him, I might as well just stay with him and we be sick together. I know, to an older, more mature mind, that sounds crazy, but to a 16-year-old, and you think you in love, it's very normal. It's very normal. So anywho, as the relationship progressed, we fought. Like, I'm talking about physical fighting. We fought all the time. This violence was bad, y'all. Like, one particular incident, I'm only going to touch on this one because it makes me emotional still, and I've been to therapy for this. He almost threw me over a third-story balcony, and I was so intoxicated that I didn't realize what happened. But my friends was telling me, like, he almost dropped your ass over that balcony. He almost dropped you over that balcony, right, Queen? And I was like, what? Like, he almost dropped me over the balcony? They was like, yeah, he almost dropped you over the balcony. So I'm like, okay. But I was so intoxicated that, to be honest, the experience kind of went by me. It went over my head a little bit. The third thing is, and this one is going to be real difficult for me, y'all. I was taken advantage of by him a lot when it comes to my body. No consent. A lot of times I was intoxicated to where I was completely out of it. So whatever he was doing to me, I couldn't consent or tell him no. Like, it was that bad. Okay, so I was being raped almost on a daily basis in this connection with this guy, right? But I was so intoxicated most of the time, I did not really recognize what was happening. It took years and years and years for me to start detoxing and seeing. Like, sometimes when you go through trauma, your body will put up defense mechanisms, and one of the defense mechanisms that your body will do sometimes is it will store memories away and try to bury them or forget about them so you don't get traumatized, right? So I was being taken advantage of by him almost. Okay. Breathe, girl. Okay. So anyways, that year goes by. And when I turned 17, my grandmother called me and she was like, you got to come home. And I'm like, well, why? I'm scared. And she was like, well, I just came from the doctor with your mother and they said that your mom got 6 months to live, so you got to come home. Oh my God. I was ready, but I wasn't ready. And I didn't even bring my tissue with me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Can I have one of your napkins? Please.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's not odd at all. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't want to end the live. So, I seen this lady walking out with napkins. I just wanted to get one so I could not be like snotting and stuff. Okay. So I got the phone call from my grandmother. She told me that my mom had 6 months to live. So I was ready to be on the next thing smoking to go home. One of my cousins, he volunteered because he was coming out to Atlanta anyway to go to like Freaknik or something. I don't remember what it was he was coming for. But he was like, I'll come get you, cuz. I'll come get you. I'm like, okay. So I'm devastated. But remember, my brain at the time is only 17 years old. So I'm still processing things from a little girl's point of view, right? I'm not a full adult. My brain is still got a soft spot in the middle. It's probably a small one. Your hole don't close on the top of your head until you're like 28. So I'm still processing things from a little girl's point of view. I'm only 17 years old. I'm just a child. Even though for the last year, I've been out here living like an adult. I've been working. I've been paying, we lived in a hotel because, I couldn't like go and get a lease or anything like that in my name. And his credit, according to him, was jacked up. I don't know how at 21, but whatever. So anyways, we were staying with this guy and his wife. I'm not going to say their name, but I do remember them. We were renting their basement because we had started doing construction. Excuse me. And it was like the night before, the night after my grandmother called me and told me that my mom had 6 months to live. We got into a very, very heated altercation. Like, I'm talking about, we was throwing, it took like 4 grown-ups to pull us off of each other. We were going at it. I was beating him. He was beating me. I don't remember what it was about. Oh, actually, I do remember what it was about. We were having a card game, and I won in a card game, and he slapped me in the face with a deck of cards. And we was going at it, y'all. I'm talking about, we was tussling. I don't know who won. I don't know who lost. All I know is I was swinging and fighting for my life, and he was swinging and fighting for his life. So I called my dad, who lived, I don't know, maybe an hour from where we were. We lived in a place called Jerusalem, Georgia. I know, right? Interesting, right? Jerusalem. So anyways, I called my dad and I'm like, hey, I done got in a fight with this dude. I'm getting ready to go home in a couple of days. My cousin finna come and get me. Can I come to the house? He like, yeah, come on. You finna go or whatever. My dad is one of them type of people. Long as you finna go, you got somewhere to go, you can come on through for a day or two. So I go to my dad's house. And I'm there for a couple of days with my dad. And I'm really numb. Like, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I'm just numb. I don't know how to feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I feel because my relationship with my mom has been toxic and turmoil. My relationship with my dad has been toxic and turmoil. And now this guy that I'm with or think that I'm in love with is toxic and turmoil. So I go home. And I'm at home for maybe 48 hours. And I'm in the kitchen for breakfast a couple of days after I get home. And my mom looks at me and she's like, you need to go up to the clinic and go take a pregnancy test. And I'm like, now, my 17-year-old brain is still not processing this like, oh, mothers know their children. They understand when something's up. She's had babies, so she would know, right? She said, you need to go take a pregnancy test. So I'm like, okay. I go up to the clinic, numb still, don't know how to feel, like out of it, almost like a drug addict. Like I just was numb. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I was numb. I don't know if you guys have ever like drank too much at the bar and went home and you get in the bed and you just feel numb, or people who've ever done coke before, how you just get numb, like your body don't feel nothing. That's how I felt. I had done no drugs. And I go to the clinic and I take the pregnancy test, and the nurse was like, I'll be back with your results. You just sit right here and wait. And I'm like, okay. And I'm there by myself. I don't bring no family members with me, no cousins, no brothers, no sisters, no nothing. The lady comes back and she tells me that my pregnancy test is positive. Now, mind you, the dude that I'm pregnant by is now in Florida. They done went to a job in Florida. That's where we was all getting ready to go. Excuse me, before I got the phone call that my mom was sick. So he's in Florida. I don't have a phone number for him. This was like at a time when like cell phones wasn't really the thing. Okay. So like this like 97. You feel me? So there ain't no cell phones popping like that. I mean, people who had phones had money. You feel me? And we ain't really had no money like that. So anywho, the lady was like, the nurse said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, listen, I'm 17 years old. I don't want no baby. I don't know what to do with no baby. So let's just schedule a termination. And that's what I did. I scheduled a termination. She told me she was going to give me 3 weeks. She said, I'm not going to schedule it right away. I'm going to give you 3 weeks so you can go home and talk to your family and see if you have a good support system. I see this all the time. Young girls come in, they want to get rid of it. A few weeks go by and then they change their mind because their family is telling them they had a back, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So she schedules my termination appointment for 3 weeks later. That was the next red flag. Okay. My first instinct told me to get rid of this kid. That was my first instinct. I didn't think about it. I didn't need time. I didn't need to go smoke. I didn't need to have a cocktail. I didn't need nothing. But mind you, now I have become addicted to certain bad behaviors because this man has been feeding me these things. He's been feeding me alcohol, feeding me marijuana, feeding it to me like breakfast, lunch, dinner. He's been feeding it to me. So now I have these really, really bad habits, right? I'm only 17. So I get home and my mom was like, what happened? And I was like, nothing. I ain't pregnant. She said, So now it's probably like lunchtime and I'm getting ready to make her something to eat. And she wasn't eating very much. She had stage 4 cancer. She was like bad, y'all. This was like terrible. It was hard for me to even look at her. And so I'm in the kitchen and I'm making her something to eat again. And she said, baby, come here. And I walked over to the table and she grabbed my hand as tightly as she could, which wasn't tight at all. And she said, don't kill my grandson. Mind you, the nurse told me that I was only 5 weeks pregnant. So nobody would have known what the gender was of this baby that was inside of my body. My mother said, don't kill my grandson. Those was her exact words. And I was like, you get that nervous laugh. I was like, Mom, you tripping. Like, stop tripping. She was like, look at me. And I looked at her. And she said, I didn't do it to you. I didn't kill you. That's what she said. And so now I'm like, oh boy. So, I put her food in front of her. I'm annoyed now because I'm just kind of like, okay, I guess I really can't hide this. I don't know what it is about this woman thing where women just know, right? My 17-year-old brain is over here discombobulated because I'm like, how does she know? Like, did they call her? I'm pissed, right? So my mom, she calls my grandmother. Now, mind you, teenage pregnancy is something that runs rampant through my family. I got a cousin that got pregnant at 11, another cousin that got pregnant at 12. One of them aborted, the other one had to be, like, this is something that goes rampant. I got cousins that had babies at 14, 15. Like, this is something that happens in my family. It goes down. So me being 17 was like, woo, by the time you give birth to this baby, you'll be 18 years old. That like, no one did that. Nobody. I think I was like the only one at that time. So my mom calls my grandmother and tells her that I'm pregnant. My grandmother comes over to the house and I don't know what jumped inside of her. I'm not sure what she felt in her spirit, but she said, she started cussing me out and calling me all types of hoes and telling me that I was going to come and drop my baby off on my dying mother and leave my child, and I was irresponsible. Mind you, I haven't been home in almost 2 years. So I'm like, what is you talking? Like, what is, like, what evidence do you have to substantiate these allegations? Because I haven't been here. So what are you talking about? But she was like, oh, you this and oh, you that and oh, you this. And I've been with the same dude. So I was like, listen, I said, lady, you got 11 kids. Okay, I know you not sitting here calling nobody no hoe and you got 11 kids. So she got mad and she picked up 2 butcher knives out of the the drying rack in the kitchen, and she pulled them up like this. And she was like, I'm gonna give you a C-section. I said, the day you give me a C-section is the day you're gonna attend your own funeral. And my brother came and jumped in the middle of us and he grabbed me. So I started beating my brother ass because I'm like, how you gonna jump and grab me when this lady got 2 knives in her hand? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So I'm beating his ass. I'm like, you better get her. And then she was like, I call my kids. I said, bitch, you gonna need your kids. You gonna need to call your kids if you think you finna do something to me. Got me fucked up. This is my grandma, y'all. I'm named after her. Okay, I'm her favorite grandchild. So I guess she was disappointed. Maybe she wanted me to be married. I don't know, right? So the whole time, once my grandma get home, she calls everybody, tell everybody I was about to beat her up. She didn't tell them she put these knives on my ass. Tell everybody I'm about to beat her up. KK tripping, she was about to beat me up. Queen tripping, she was about to beat me up. So all my family done gathered together. Mind you, my grandma got 11 damn kids. Okay, my mama being one of them, who was too weak to really do anything at the time. They all done packed up their little minivans and shit and came over to the house like they was gonna do something. I was like, don't nobody want no smoke with me. I'm telling y'all right now, don't nobody want no smoke with the queen. Everybody can get the smoke. It don't make y'all can line the fuck up. Uncles, aunties, everybody, cousins, you could get it. But it was probably like 20 something family members showed up to the house. And they was like, you know, you did. So I was like, look, whatever. Ain't nobody got time for that. Y'all man me is not finna pull no gun, no knives on me, and you think I'm not finna defend myself. You got me twisted. Whatever. So everybody back down. I knew they wasn't gonna do nothing anyway, because like first of all, I'm pregnant, and second of all, like what? I'm the favorite. I'm everybody's favorite everything. I'm the favorite cousin, I'm the favorite sister, I'm the favorite auntie, I'm the favorite. What the fuck you talking about? Ain't nobody gonna do shit. Whatever. And I got hands. What's up? So anyway, they do too though. But anyways, okay. Now we finna get into the deep parts of it. I took some notes just so I wouldn't forget. Um so I ended up deciding to keep this kid, even though I didn't want to. By the time I hit 6 months, my mom had passed away. We had her funeral and everything like that. The guy that I was pregnant by, I ended up calling him at like maybe 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant. I was like, look, I'm pregnant. What you want to do? Because my mom asked me what I was going to do. And I was like, well, the only way I'm going to keep it is if you're going to help me with it. So I called him, finally got in contact with him. He hit me up. He's like, what's up? I was like, I found out I'm pregnant. What you want to do? He was like, well, I'm just going to come there. And I was like, what you coming here for? He was like, well, let's try to figure this out. I'm like, all right, so you want me to keep it? Yeah, I want you to keep it. I'm like, cool. So maybe like a month later, he showed up. Um, he was a pallbearer at my mom's funeral, and I think that's one of the things that kind of was my toxic attachment to him. That was one of the things that kind of made me grasp onto him even more, because I'm like, like this is the lady who gave me life, and you're like being a pallbearer at her funeral. It was almost like at that point in my eyes, I don't know if he could do anything wrong right in that moment. Like I had kind of like fell like back in love with him over again. It was like, okay, let's just forget about everything. Life is too short. My mom was only 39 when she passed away. I'm like, like I don't know what my fate is going to be. I don't know if this thing is going to like grab a hold of me and something going to end up happening to me. Let's just like forgive each other, forget, and move on. So, I had the baby, and I'm a West Sider in New York. On my side in my city in New York, we're big on what side of town you from. Like you can't go, if you're a West Sider, you can't go on the East Side or the North Side or the South Side and do anything dealing with the streets unless you like got people that's gonna vouch for you, you family, something like that, right? You have to have a pass. Excuse me. So I'm a West Sider. I ended up getting this apartment on the East Side, but it was across the street from the church that my grandmother preached at. My grandmother was a preacher my whole life, longer than that. So anyways, I had ended up getting an apartment across the street. Now at the time I was a hustler. My baby daddy could not hustle in my city because he's from Chicago. If he would have attempted to do anything on the streets of my city, they would have unalived him the night. Soon as it would have got dark, they would have found him floating somewhere. They'd have got rid of him. But they don't do that in my city. In New York, it's very hard to come from somewhere else and think you're finna post up and do anything illegal unless you have a pass. He didn't have one. I did, but I ain't really had the authority to give him one. My family really didn't like him like that. So, I want to say the kid had turned like 6 months old. Yeah, he was about 6 months old. And 6 or 7 months. It could have been more than that, because I remember him being able to stand up in his crib, like grab the bars of the crib and stand up by himself. So it could have been long. It could have been like 9 months, something like that, 10 months. He was old enough to like pull himself up. So anyways, I'm out hustling or whatever. I get home. I love bubble baths. Anybody who know me know I fucking love bubble baths. Those are like my absolute favorite. So my baby daddy had ran me a bubble bath. And I came home. I had been hustling all day. I was stinky. I had been on the block for like 2 days. It was like the first of the month or some shit like that. I came home with like tons and tons and tons of money. So I go and I get in the tub and I roll. I was like, baby, roll up 2 of them, because I want to chillax. I want to eat. I want to watch the movies. I want to chill, right? So at the time I had a crew, and two of the people, it was a couple, this dude and this chick that rented a room in the apartment. We had a 2 bedroom apartment. They rented the other room, save us some money. We all hustle together, whatever, what have you. So we sit in my room and we watching, I don't remember what we was watching, but we was all smoking and we watching TV. The baby is in his little bassinet in the front room. I mean, his little crib in the front room, sleep. So the next thing you know, we hear boom, boom. And I'm like, boom, boom. And I hear the baby screaming, wow, wow, wow. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I jump up, motherly instinct. I jump up. Now, the girl who was renting the room with her boyfriend, she a mother too. She had already had a few kids. So she jumped up just as hysterical as I did, right? So we jump up, yeah, hustling, like, selling smugs. You don't know what hustling is? Selling the white stuff. The rocked kind, not the powder. So, sorry, food abroad. I thought everybody understood. My bad. So anyways, I jump up, she jump up, and we both run straight towards the baby. Okay? No, you won't. It's not that you lame. I gotta remember everybody don't understand the language. My bad. That was my fault. So we run in there where the baby at, and I done snatched the baby up, and she's looking around. She started flicking on lights. Flick, flick, flick. She flicking on lights, and the dude, both of the men, they grabbing, the pum-pums. They like, fuck going on. They ready to, jump into defense mode. So I'm looking up at the ceiling because I'm thinking the ceiling caved in. Maybe like the toilet or the tub or something fell down into our apartment. It was so loud. And it sounded like one big boom. So my baby daddy was like, babe, it's a hole in the wall. And he was like, wait a minute, there go another one. And he was like, hold up, there go another one. So now he's finding all of these holes in the wall. And they bullet holes. So we like, the funks is going on here? What is up with these bullet holes? So we ended up calling 911 because it was just so many effing bullet holes. It was so many of them, y'all. It didn't even make no effing sense. I don't even know if we could count them all. But I think the officer said it was like 20 something. When the police get there, they keep asking me about the baby. So where was the baby? I'm like, he was in his crib. No, he wasn't in his crib. Where was the baby? I'm like, he was in his crib. No, the baby wasn't in the crib. Where was the baby? I'm like, sir, the fucking baby was in his crib. I'm telling you, this baby was in his crib. The officer does not believe me. He's thinking that I'm lying, and I'm trying to figure out why won't he just accept that this baby was in this crib. So I walk over, and the lady officer is standing there. She doing a little thing, whatever the little codes and all that shit is. And then she was like, there's no way. I hear them. But I'm trying to figure out what are they talking about. So I'm like, what's wrong? I said, why do y'all not believe that the baby was in his crib? So the lady officer, she pulls the baby crib back from the wall, and there's bullet holes behind the bars of his baby crib. So I'm like, and she said, no, I put it back exactly the way I found it because I don't believe that the baby was in the crib. I said the baby was in the crib. She said the baby was not here. I said no, the baby is fine. So they looking at him. They done took off his diaper. They looking, at his butt, on his legs, on his arms, his neck, everything. Like there's no blood. This baby is not bleeding. How this baby is not bleeding? So I'm taking this as a sign that, oh my goodness, God saved my baby, right? We live right across the street from the church my grandma preached at. Oh my God, God done saved my baby. That's what I'm thinking. But that was my next red flag. That was like my third red flag, okay? So I'm like, okay, I'm still not thinking it's nothing wrong with this situation. I'm still not thinking there's nothing wrong with this situation. So we ended up leaving that apartment the next morning. I had a whole crew. Well, these wasn't like moving people. These were my homies in the streets and shit. You know what I'm saying? I called the crew up and I'm like, yo, y'all need to come over here, help me get my shit. I got me another spot over on, the west side where I'm from. So I ain't got to worry about this shit. So come to find out, when we get to the next apartment, I'm talking to my baby daddy about what happened. And I'm asking him like, what that shit was weird. What happened? I was like, did you do anything? Because when I used to get my work, the stuff I would go out and sell, what I just told you about food abroad, I would chop up a certain amount of it and leave a certain amount at home, because if you get caught, you only allowed to have so much before you get like life. You feel me? So I would take what would keep me safe for the most part. Excuse me. Then I would just come home, get some more, and then go back, drop the money off and come back or whatever. That's the safe way of doing it. That's what I was taught. That's what I did. So he was like, well, no, I wasn't really doing nothing. I mean, I might have sold like a dime or a nickel bag or something like that. I was like, didn't I tell you you can't come to my city and do anything? I said, so you almost got everybody in the house murked because you don't know how to follow the instructions. I said, I come home with pockets and pockets full of money every freaking day. Why did you do that? So he was like, I ain't gonna do it no more, babe. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So he trying to cry and all this shit. I wasn't trying to hear that shit. Like at this point, by the time the baby born and my son is almost at the point where he walking and shit, I'm fed up with this dude. I'm ready to just get rid of him. I'm tired of him. I don't want to be with him no more. He's fucking annoying. He can't get me high no more and drunk no more. I'm older. Now I'm taking care of shit. So I'm really starting to see him for who he is now. You get me? So we move and I'm living in this. It's like it's a apartment. It's an upstairs apartment, right? But it's a loft. So even though it's an upstairs apartment, my upstairs apartment had an upstairs, if that makes sense. The upstairs was a loft. The downstairs was 2 bedroom. No, the downstairs was 1 bedroom, a living room, a bathroom, and then the upstairs was a loft. So we figured that we would just make the whole upstairs a loft. The baby room was the baby room. It had the crib and all of that stuff in there, the toys and all the little baby stuff, but he never was in there. He was always with us. So one night, I done went upstairs in the loft and I done laid down because I'm finna get ready to go to sleep. And literally, y'all, it felt like somebody was pushing me. It was like, get up, get up, get up. It felt like somebody was pushing me, but when I woke up and opened my eyes, nobody was there. And so I was getting ready to close my eyes back up and go back to sleep, but I was like, man, let me get up and go use the bathroom and go check on this baby, right? That's what I'm thinking. Motherly shit, right? So I throw my glasses on and I hop up, and when I stood up, I noticed that it looked foggy. And I was like, okay, let me turn the light on. So I turned the light on and it was really foggy. That's crazy how I just started to cough. Because that's exactly what happened. I started to cough. I was like, what the hell's going on? So I run down the stairs, full speed ahead, and I can't see. The whole downstairs is covered in smoke. The whole downstairs. Mind you, I got a freaking fire escape, but I don't know why people panic when things like this happen. Didn't even think about the fire escape. I popped the first window open that was next to me and started screaming. Ah, 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 because I'm trying to wake, like, where is my baby? Where the hell is my baby, right? So the baby hears me screaming. He starts to scream. So I just go to his voice. I can't see him. I run to his voice and I grab him and I stick him out the window. So we up on the second floor. We up on the second story with the window open, right? I had one of them little, like one of them little awning things you can kind of sit on and look out your window or whatever. You can put plants on it or whatever, right? So I'm sitting on that. I got the baby hanging out the window and I'm screaming, call 911. Somebody call 911. Somebody call 911. I don't know what the hell. I don't know if it's our apartment. I don't know if it's somebody else's apartment. We living in an apartment building, so I don't know what the hell going on, right? So I'm screaming, 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 screaming. So in the midst of all of this screaming going on, I guess my baby daddy done woke up and he done went and did whatever the hell he was doing in the smoke. I can't see him. So 911 arrived. The fire department shows up or whatever, and my baby, they asking him questions. They asking my baby daddy questions. He's like, yeah, I had fell asleep. I had turned the eye on because I was gonna get ready to make me something to eat, and I fell asleep with my son on my chest, and da 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 da. So now I'm over here looking at him like, okay, you wait till these people leave. I'm finna give you the business, bro. So when they left, sure enough, we got into a fist fight. I know, y'all, this is one of the toxicest stories y'all probably gonna ever hear. Listen. I come a long way, okay? So I'm over here, I'm beating his ass. Boom, boom, boom. Now, this time I was whooping his ass. I will say that. I was winning that fight, okay? I didn't win a whole lot of our fights, but that one I was winning. I think it's because I was so pissed off. But I was swinging on him, and I was like, motherfucker, you almost killed my baby again. So I'm pissed, right? Because you done already got our house shot up. Now you done fucking smoked us out. Like, what's wrong with you, okay? What the hell is wrong with you, right? Mind you, I'm still not thinking none of this shit is associated with this little person. Okay? I'm over here thinking this man is the fucking problem. And he was. He was definitely a narcissist. He was a big issue. So anywho, that goes by. We ended up staying together. Mind you, He done fucked around with my best friend. He done fucked around with my cousin. He done fucked around with the lady that lived down the street. But I'm 17, so I don't know this at the time, okay? Later, it all started to click. I was like, oh, he was fucking her. Oh, he was fucking with her. Oh, he's like, this came later, okay? I didn't know. But he was sleeping with my friends, my family, all that. Bitches up the street, round the corner, Tatiana's. He was fucking with everybody. So, anyways, um, this probably like maybe a month later. I remember getting up one day, and when I tried to stand up, my kidneys was hurting so bad I had to bend over. And I was like, why are my damn kidneys hurting like this? And I'm thinking, oh, he done raped me again, right? That's what I'm thinking. He done took advantage of me again in my sleep, right? I don't know. Well, now I know that it wasn't big enough for him to hurt nothing, but I ain't know at the time, okay? That was the only person I really had did the bang, bang, bang with like that. So I didn't know. So I'm thinking maybe he done took advantage of me again or something. Um, so I was like, well, let me go use the bathroom. I had chugged a bunch of water, and then I went to go pee. And when I went to go use the bathroom, it was pink. So I was like, well, is my cycle about to come on? Because I'm thinking like a girl would think, like, okay, well, maybe my cycle getting ready to come on. It was like a real light colored pink and mixed in with my urine, and I could see it. So I'm like, the fuck is going on? So I go to wash my hands, and then I felt the need to cough, but it was like a like a smoker cough. And then I spit in the sink, and when I spit in the sink, I spit up a chunk of blood. I'm talking about a chunk. It was like mixed with, mucus and shit, but it was a chunk. And I was like, I said, wait a minute. At first, I didn't say nothing to him because I was scared. I was like, bitch, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. This is what I'm telling myself in my head. Like, bitch, don't say nothing. Because everybody about to panic. You about to cause a frenzy. Don't say nothing. Like, give it a minute. Like, drink some more water. Why do we do that? I don't know. I don't know. Humans are weird. But I did the weird human thing, and I started drinking more water, right? I was like, let me go make some tea. I'm not going to smoke all day today. Like, I'm blaming it on everything, right? And then as the day progresses, I'm drinking all this water. Every time I go pee, it feels like it feels like I'm peeing out like my intestines while I'm peeing. So I'm like, he done gave me some. This bitch done burnt me. I'm dying on the inside. So finally, I couldn't take it no more. I had took a bunch of medicine and everything, and still, it was just, the pain just kept increasing. So I was like, you know what? I said, let me just call 911. I'm going to have to go to the emergency room because I don't know what's going on. And this shit is getting worse. I'm going to end up fucking around laying here and dying. So I call 911. The ambulance comes and get me because I can't walk. I'm like stuck. The ambulance comes and gets me. My baby daddy comes to the house. I don't know how he got there because as soon as I got on the stretcher thing and they wheeled my ass out and put me inside of the ambulance truck, I was gone. I passed the fuck out. So I wake up in the hospital and I'm over here giggling and shit. I'm like, hey, my baby daddy there, one of my cousins there, my grandma there. And I'm over here giggling and shit. And I'm like, what y'all doing? I was like, y'all gotta stop. My grandma was praying and doing that thing they be doing, and all that shit. And I'm like, okay. So I wake up and I'm giggling, messing with my grandma. I'm like, grandma, you don't have to call all the angels in heaven. It's okay. And she said, what's today? And I was like, today, and I think it was like a Wednesday or something. But I was like, today is Wednesday. She said, girl, it ain't no Wednesday. I said, well, what day is? She said, it's Monday. I said, Monday the what? Y'all, my ass had been in a coma for 5 days. I woke up joking and laughing and thinking Big Mama, my grandma was being funny, calling all the angels in heaven. And my dumb ass had been in a coma for 5 days. So now the seriousness hits me and I'm talking about boo-hoo crying. I'm crying uncontrollably because I'm like, what do you mean? I'm telling the doctor to bring me paperwork. Let me see the date. I'm asking people, let me see your watch. Let me see. Today is not Monday. Like, no, it's not. My grandma is like, everybody's like, yes, your ass has been in a coma for 5 days. So when the doctor comes in, they was like, the doctor gonna come in and he gonna talk to you. Is it okay if he talk in front of your family? I'm like, shit, they've been talking all this damn time in front of my family. I was you know what I'm saying? I was about to give up the ghost. So like, he might as well. So probably like 20 minutes later, I'm still crying, but it's not like bad, but I'm still crying. And the doctor comes in and he's like, well, I said, what happened to me? And he was like, well, when you got here, you was in pretty bad shape. He was like, we had to immediately start pumping you and put fluids in you. He said your lungs was 80% filled with blood. And I was like, huh? I said, well, what is it? Because I'm thinking he finna tell me it's an STD because I'm finna go home and whoop your ass. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Yes. Okay. I'm mad. Listen, at this point, I'm hating this dude. I'm hating him because I'm thinking he the reason why this baby is almost about to be unalive. This the reason why all this bad stuff keep happening to me. It's his ass, right? So he said, you had pneumonia in your lungs. And had you waited another 24 hours, you would have died in your sleep. I was 19. I was 19 years old. And it wasn't even like pneumonia flu season. I said, what could cause this? He said, oh, there's numerous different things. He didn't say bad weather. First thing he said was stress. I said, pneumonia can be brought on by stress. He said, any sickness can be brought on by stress. I thought, oh, okay. So now I'm looking at him with the demon eye. I'm like, I know it's you, bitch. You stressing me out, motherfucker. You stressing me out. So I get home and I finally had a talk with him. I said, listen, I don't want to be with you. This relationship is toxic as hell. I don't think that we're going anywhere with this relationship. This shit is stupid. All we do is fight. Excuse me. You're a fuck up. All you do is just mess everything up. Every chance you get, you messing something up. Everywhere we go, there's always bad juju, always bad energy following us everywhere we go. Like, it's something wrong with you. I don't want to be with you. So I had ended up getting into some trouble where I had to go to court. His dad, who lived in Ohio at the time, was like, okay, y'all finna, split up or whatever. This is his first grandson. So he was like, well, you stay and you go to court and do whatever you need to do and handle your business, and I'll take the baby, and whenever you're ready for the baby to come back, just let me know and I'll bring him back. So I'm like, cool. Like, he was one of them granddad. Basically, I used to call him my baby daddy because that's pretty much what he was. He did everything that a baby daddy was supposed to do. Like, my baby daddy did shit and his dad did everything. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, the only difference is I wasn't sleeping with him. So he was like, go ahead, do whatever you got to do. Handle your business. Whenever you're ready, I'll bring the baby back to you. But just let me have some time with my grandson because I don't know what y'all doing. I don't know if this about to be bad or, what's going to go down. But I want to make sure that you understand that I'm here to support the baby. Don't keep me away from my grandson. I love him. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he take my baby. I go to court and all of that, handle everything. And so I think it was like maybe a couple months. I was kicking it with other people. He was kicking it with other people. Like, the relationship was pretty much over. And I'm like, okay, well, let me call and, get my baby. You know what I'm saying? I done got all this shit out my system. I'm pretty much a single parent, pretty much. Whatever. So I call him and I'm like, hey, I want you to, bring my baby back. But it's been a few months. Like, it's been a few months since we seen each other. So I guess, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I don't know, whatever. This is my first love. He comes and he's like, well, yeah, we came to bring the baby back or whatever, but I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. So his dad takes his fake granddaughter. Well, if I would have said that she was his fake granddaughter while he was here, he would turn over in his grave. But she, his girlfriend's daughter's daughter, which would be technically his first granddaughter, but this was his first biological grandchild, my baby. So he bring her, she was like 9 at the time. He bring her, he take her and my son and they go do whatever grandparents and babies do, to eat or whatever. So my baby daddy, he talking to me and he like, I really love you and I messed up and you the only person that I love. I tried to kick it with these other hoes and I don't like them like that, and you smell good and you cook and you this and that, right? He putting it on. He putting icing on the cake, right? Cherry on top, sprinkle of cinnamon, all that. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, well, my dad was in my life, even though him and my mom wasn't together. My dad was very present in my life. I do have a son, and I do kind of need to, like, be responsible and start making some adult decisions. Like, we need to stop fighting, because he was talking about that. Like, we need to stop fighting. We need to stop doing this. We need to stop doing that. We need to just be responsible parents. I'm like, cool. So he was like, well, will you move to Ohio with me? I'll take care of you. I'm finna get this job at Chrysler with my dad. I got an interview next week. You ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. I'm gonna buy us a house and we gonna get married and da 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 da, right? At the time, I'm like, what, 19? So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, whatever. Like, who don't want to, like, get married to the dude that they had their first kid by, your high school sweetheart, your first love? Duh. Who don't want to do that, right? So I packed my little duffel bag. I called my sister. I'm like, look, I'm finna go on up to Ohio with this nigga. Come here to the house. Get whatever you want. Whatever you don't want. Let the crackheads have their way with it. Let the landlord know. Here go the key. So we hop in the car and we going out to Ohio. He told me don't worry about nothing. No, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing. So we get out to Ohio and we both ended up finding a job because we had to wait. Like the process for him to get in at Chrysler was like one of them things where it's kind of like if you going into the military or something, you had to go through all this strenuous testing and background checks and all that. So it takes a few months before you like get in. So we ended up finding this temporary seasonal job at this factory, and I had let the granddad's girlfriend babysit my son. By this time, my son is like walking and all of that. He walking and talking a little bit and all of that shit. So I let her babysit my son, and I come home from work one day, and the fucking baby is like, he like this. Like he's sitting on the couch, but he like, this is what the baby doing. I said, what's wrong with my son? Here go the baby. Ma, the, like he trying to be happy and enthusiastic that his mama and daddy home, but he high off something. So I asked the lady, what did you do to him? Y'all, let me tell y'all what this hoe said. This woman told me that she crushed up a little piece of an adult Tylenol and put it in his juice. She tried to turn my baby into a crackhead. So, needless to say, this is all these flags, okay? I hope y'all caught them all. I hope y'all took notes, okay? Because it was a lot. I know that was a lot. I know it was a lot. But she done turned my baby into a crackhead, so now I can't go to work, right? I got a crackhead son now at the house, high off fucking Tylenols. And I want to beat this lady up, but I'm in her house. You get what I'm saying? I want to beat it. Like back then, that was me. Okay? Queen Whoop a Bitch Ass.com. That was my name. So I'm ready to beat this lady the fuck up. I can't beat her up. I'm in her house. Her man is my son grandbaby. Granddaddy. And I'm just over here looking like, I told my baby dad, I said, I can't go to work. I can't go to work because this bitch gonna kill my baby. So needless to say, y'all, our relationship played out in a very turmoil type of way. I went to try to break up with him again and then found out I was pregnant with my second son. Because he was a crackhead. Let me tell you why I'm going to call him a crackhead, Q. Because over the years, okay, now me and him done broke up. I done had a second baby by him. All of these symptoms that I had of this STD that I thought I had, I kept getting those symptoms, but then as soon as me and him broke up, they went away. Weird shit, right? No doctor, no blood test, no swabs, pap smear, nothing. The doctor couldn't find shit. Okay? So, anyways, me and him done broke up. Okay? Now I got these damn kids. Okay? That he over here thinking he finna play with me about these kids. Oh, I want to see my kids. I want to see my kids. I go take the kids and drop the kids off. He over here thinking he finna let his girlfriend hit my kids. Becky. Bitch, you got me fucked up. I'll beat you in his ass. No, that's not gonna happen. But needless to say, y'all, this child, when this little boy was like old enough to stand up in his crib, he used to stand in the crib and hold the bars and bang his head, bow, bow, screaming, wow, bow, bow, up against the crib. And I used to be like, go get him before he unalive himself. Like this dude finna toe tag himself. I used to have to get his daddy to get him out the crib because he used to bang his head. This baby was only like 1. Who stressed out that bad at 1 year old? Were you doing all that? You acting like a crackhead. So anyways, as the years go by, this boy was just giving me all type of little red flag trouble. But I never looked at it like he was like Rosemary's Baby. You feel me? I kept like, maybe it was because I was a young mom. I don't know. Or maybe it was just because I was kind of stupid. I don't know which one it was. But I never really put two and two together. I just was like, okay, I got to be a better mom. I need to go and do some research. And then when I was like, at the time, I was like, oh, like I took my kids to the doctor like all the fucking time. Like when they would see me coming, they were like, oh, here she is. She got the babies with her. Hey, like I just used to show up for everything. And my kids said, I'd be like, I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to the doctor. Fuck you. We going to the doctor. Um, but I would explain to the doctor little certain things that was happening. And my midwife kept trying to tell me, she kept saying, I think your son might have some sort of mental illness, but he's so young. I don't know how to diagnose what mental illness it would be considered. You know what I'm saying? She was like, you're gonna have to wait until he get a little bit older. And she said you probably gonna end up experiencing more excuse me, more traumatic stuff with him before you actually figure out, what's up. So by the time he got like in, y'all, this was Rosemary's Baby. Okay, this little motherfucker was Rosemary's Baby. Now, don't get me wrong. My children were very well behaved when it came to like me making sure that they knew right from wrong. But he had this really, really, really demonic anger that like I didn't know how, like, as soon as he got to the age where he realized that he was like a little bit bigger than me and that he could possibly overpower me because he had never done it, it started to manifest itself into the demonhood. Like, you feel me? Like the demon started to like show its ugly horns, if that makes sense. When he was about 15, 16 years old, we were living in a homeless shelter at the time. It's the first time this shit had ever happened. We was living in a homeless shelter. And once he realized that he could kind of overpower me and maybe he could take me, if we was to get into some physical shit, maybe he could take me out. The demons started to the horns, they got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm trying to get him help, right? But at that age and at that time, first of all, we was on Medicaid. So we ain't talking Blue Cross Blue Shield. We talking about like Obamacare before it was called Obamacare, right? So they giving me the runaround. They telling me, oh, he only have this many amount of symptoms. Oh, well, we just gonna put him on medicine. And I'm like, okay, well, they giving me medicine, and I'm attempting to give the medicine, but I'm getting these really bad side effects from the medicine. Like, he waking up in the middle of the night talking about, I'm finna make some biscuits. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, in the dark and shit. Like, bro, come on now. Like, I was like, I'm not giving him this medicine no more. Something wrong with this medicine. So I had to make a decision to not give it to him because he started like experiencing psychosis, right? Yeah, it's the son I'm having trouble with now. So sorry y'all, it's hot. I gotta put this one down. So I'm like, okay. So I'm talking to his psychologist or whatever them people, psychiatrist, and I'm telling her this medicine is really now mind you, he's only like maybe at this time he probably was about 10 years old when I was trying to experiment with the medicine. And I told the doctor, I said, I can't give it to him. And she was like, well, if you can't give him the medicine, then we can't help him. And I was like, well, if he has to go through psychosis in order to receive help, then I guess we just not gonna be able to get him no help. He's 26 now. So time goes on. I'm experiencing all of these angry, evil outbursts. Now, when I lived in my apartment when I was in New York, this was another red flag. He had been doing this probably for like a few years before this happened. But when I was in my apartment before I left New York, he had punched holes in the walls. He had knocked one of the doors nearly off the hinges. There was holes in all of the walls, like all over the house. In the living room, in his room, the bathroom door was nearly off his hinges. It was like he was just an angry person. And I kept trying to get him help, like at school. I was trying to get him to talk to, and he did talk to the counselor at school, but she was so fucking fascinated by him. You know what I'm saying? She was just like, oh, he's so fucking brilliant. I'm like, yes, bitch, I know he's smart, but so are fucking sociopaths and psychopaths. They're the fucking most intelligent people you could ever meet in your life. Can you like take my concerns into consideration here? Like what the fuck? But she was just so fascinated about that. I'm gonna come and get him and take him out to eat. No, bitch, I need you to come get him and take him to a therapy session. Like what the fuck? So, anyways, and he is brilliant. I'll give him that. The motherfucker is brilliant, but he's scary at the same time. So, anywho, this was my fault. Okay, this was my fault. As he got older, I started to notice that. Okay, and this is what I'm getting from it. Okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't diagnose nobody with shit. But I feel like what I have been watching over the last 26 years is I've been watching a narcissist turn into a narcissist. And I do know that mothers do play somewhat of a role with the coddling and shit with the kid that kind of aid in the narcissism, but I didn't know that at the time. I know that now that I'm doing research on it. But I believe that I'm literally watching my son turn into a full-fledged narcissist. Like right now, he has like he got about 3. Okay, the anger, definite. He's gonna hit somebody. My son is going to go. I'm telling you right now, and I'm not even trying to speak this into existence. I see it. He is going to end up hurting someone, and he's going to go to jail, and it's probably going to be for a long time, because I have a strong feeling it's going to be a woman. I don't know who the woman is going to be. It ain't going to be my ass. Not if I can help it. Okay, not if I can help it. Oh, it's definitely passed down. His daddy used to, girl, listen, I just told y'all about him. Okay, every chance he got, he was putting his hands and feet on my ass. I had to defend myself. The fuck. But I loved him. My man, my man, my man. I was so stupid. But anyways, I have a feeling that he's gonna end up hurting somebody, because he went from punching walls to throwing shit. Like this last outburst he had, like when I came back from, I was in South America for a year. I've been back for what, 4 months? When I got back, y'all, he been gone from the house for 2 months. Within those 2 months, he had 5 outbursts. 5. In 2 months. In 2 months, this dude had 5 outbursts. The last one, like normally, like if I was to go to my house and show y'all, he was throwing bed frames and, you know, those glass candles, the real hard glass home and garden candles. He had one of them in his hand. I was getting ready to walk outside to go to my truck to call the fucking police on his ass, because I was like, I don't know what's wrong with this motherfucker, but either you finna stand down or I'm finna shoot you. I already knew that's what it was about to come to. We was about to either have a shootout or I needed to call the cops to get him removed from the house. That's what it was at that time. He had this big ass, I'm talking about the big round one, the heavy one, home and garden candle in his hand. He picked it up. He looked at the candle. He looked at me like, he did like this and drew his hand back. And then he turned and looked the other way and threw it in the other direction. He was about to hit me with that goddamn candle. Can't nobody tell me nothing different. And let me tell you the reason why. I told him no. He told me him and his girlfriend couldn't pay the rent the next month at my house that I paid for, that they was living in. He wanted me to pay their rent. And because I told him no, this is what he did. This is what he did. But let me tell you something. I'm not blaming it on him for being a demon. I'm blaming it on his daddy, because his daddy was a demon and is a demon. Okay? Was and is a fucking demon. Still to this day. Listen, let me tell you about this dude. First of all, he a black dude. I'm his first baby mama. I got his first kids. He went and got a white woman, had kids with her, abandoned them. He got a Spanish woman, had kids with her, and abandoned them. And then he got with another black girl during COVID, and she died from COVID. Demon. Okay? I'm not blaming it on him for being a demon, but he is one. It just is what it is. Okay? Whoever the fuck he inherited it from, whatever. The bitch is a demon. Okay? That's just what it is. But let me say this. The gaslighting that narcissists do, my son does that. You know how they say narcissists love to argue, they love chaos? He lives for that. He lives for that. If he come and he say something to you, you be like, oh, okay, it's all right. He be like, but what about this? What about that? Well, what about what we discussed? I didn't say that. No, I can read some text messages to y'all. Y'all would go crazy. If I was to read some of these text messages that we have on WhatsApp, the circles that he, but see, you got to remember, I raised this motherfucker, so we've been doing this for 26 years, so I already know how to, you know what I'm saying, maneuver around this shit. But yeah, it's a psychotic mess. Like if I was to go into therapy again and go show my therapist this shit, I know my therapist would diagnose this motherfucker. I know she would. He would. With what I'm saying, he's a narcissist. But I'm watching him become that. I'm watching him become a narcissist, y'all. It's the most fucking fascinating thing I ever seen in my fucking life. Not in a good way. This is not in a good way. Not in a good way. But listen, I got on here and told y'all this whole hour-long story to tell y'all that you need to be very, very selective and very, very careful who you decide to give access to your body and to your womb. I'm going to be honest with you. Because of the circumstances where this man kept me doped up all the time when I was with him, I probably would have ended up pregnant with this kid any fucking way. But I should have followed my first mind. When my first mind told me, terminate, abort mission, I should have listened. That was my ancestors and them telling me, like, look, child, it's something growing inside of you that you ain't ready for. Okay, and I'm gonna say this to the people who was in my comment section when I did the video on our BM's Satan, and I used the Bible to back up my evidence. Okay, get mad if you want to. God said it, not me. Okay, but when I posted that video, and it was so many women in the comment section were like, "Well, if BM's is Satan, then what are we? What are we?" The ones who can carry anything into the world. You don't know about half human, half animals. Women have given birth to less. They have given birth to less. Okay? Unicorn babies and shit. Them shits is real. Okay? Those are not mythical creatures. People wouldn't be talking about it if it didn't exist. Don't get it twisted. Okay? Yes. And it's still happening. East Indian women be out here tripping. You go look at some videos, okay? And kids be coming on. Okay, you can carry a lot of shit that you might not want to be carry, but you need to know the signs and symptoms of a demon before you lay down with somebody and give this person access to your body. You're going to listen. Even though it took 26 years for all of this to manifest, for me to actually open my eyes and see what the funk is really going on, the truth is, now I see it. Now I see what it is. Now I see what happened. Now I'm able to put the picture together because I'm standing back and I'm looking and I'm going, ooh, see. And I'm going to tell you what's scary. My ancestors always give me dreams and premonitions about shit before it happened. I had a dream that he had got somebody pregnant, and I got a feeling that if this thing comes to pass, I believe that her story is going to be just like mine. Just like mine. I believe he's going to do the exact same thing to that young lady that he did to his mother. Because I'm going to tell you one of the biggest red flags you could ever look out for. Any man that has a poor relationship with his mother is a fucking red flag. And if you don't think that's a red flag, then you're a fucking red flag. Especially a good mom. Especially a good mom. A mom who protected you and kept you safe. Well, probably not the earlier parts of your life. Listen, the first couple years, child, look, I was winging, I was trying to figure it out. But by the time I got pregnant with my second son, he wasn't even 2 yet, and I had gave birth to my second son. Listen, I was like, look, bitch, we finna get it together. Okay, we finna get it together. We got to start working towards some accomplishments, goals, and aspirations around this journey, okay? I got in school. You know, even though I had dropped out, I got my GED. I took my ass to college. I started trying to study something. I put them in good neighborhoods, good schools. I cared about their education. I helped them with their homework every night. You know, we had cleanup time. They had TV time. They had play time. Like, they had a time. My children had a very structured life. They had a time for them to do everything, but I could not stop that demon from manifesting out of him. I couldn't. But now, I'm going to tell you what I'm most grateful for about this situation. They actually allowed this thing to play out to where now we're disconnected from each other, and I get to watch this demon at play away from me. I don't have to experience this demon again through him that I had to experience with his dad. Okay? But that's the video, y'all. I hope I didn't overwhelm y'all too much. I'm about to go ahead and add some mods. You know, I'm going to put my same mods on here that I got on my other channel. Like, why not? The fuck? Um, I'm about to make y'all some mods over here. Thank you to everybody who attended this video. Thumbs up if you got anything from this. Subscribe to the channel and you know, support me in any way that y'all can. And like I said, I hope that I'm not triggering anybody in any type of negative way. But I really hope that this story and me decompressing, I'm gonna try not to make this like the theme on this channel. I want this channel to be a really happy place where we can come and laugh and just decompress from all the spiritual stuff that we do over on the other platform. So hopefully, this will be like a more happy go lucky like type thing. But I really feel like I needed to get that message out to you guys, and I didn't want to do it on the other channel because people really come to that channel for the energy readings and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm gonna make y'all mods over here. I hope that don't mess with the channel because YouTube be over here tripping, honey. Yeah, Derek, women are waking up and leaving toxic men alone, but it's a lot of them that don't know no better too, especially young ones. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know. Did I make you a mod, Unica? I did. Okay. Yeah, y'all, be super uber duper careful. Roshi, you said you going through it similar with your son. You won't be free until you get away from his energy. Yeah. See, the thing that I have to say that I appreciate about my ancestors is they didn't just like throw us out of our connection together, right? What ended up happening is I went to South America for a year and then I came back and then everything started to you know what I'm saying? Like I was already researching the narcissism and all that stuff. Oh baby, she like she about to pop with that baby in her belly. The narcissism and all that stuff I had already been researching for like a year, a few years, more than a year. I've been researching narcissism for about 5 years now because I already knew something was up with him. But now I'm starting to see like, okay, motherfucker, now, because some of it, like, even when I was doing the research, I was like, well, he don't do that. He don't do that. Okay, he definitely do that. Okay, it was like, I could pick certain ones and be like, okay, he do that, but he don't do that. Now I'm starting to see them all coming together. I'm like, ooh. So I've been watching this motherfucker become a narcissist. That's crazy. Um, how do you do that being a mother? How do you walk away? I'm curious and trying to understand it. It's pretty simple. He's 26 years old. I mean, you're an adult. Like, what do you mean walk away? If you're not going to respect me and you're going to make me feel like my life is in danger, you're not giving me any other fucking option. Like, what do I do? Sit here and get abused because you're my child? Make that make sense. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to sit around and allow somebody to abuse me for the sake of a title. Oh, you're my son. Oh, I'm your mother. No, listen, if I don't feel safe, if I don't feel comfortable, if when you get angry, you don't know how to control yourself where you're on the verge of attacking me, boo-boo, you made that shit very easy for me to walk away. What are you talking about? Very easy. The easiest thing I've ever done. The easiest thing I've ever walked away from. You make me feel like my life is in danger? Fuck you. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a damn who your mama is. Me or anybody else. I don't care. Like, whatever. No, ma'am. I ain't finna play no. Listen, and let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you the reason why so many women can fall victim of their children unaliving them. Is because of thoughts like that type of thought process. Like, I'm never gonna walk away. I remember one time this lady said in under one of my comments of my video, she said, I wouldn't care if my son was Satan himself. I ain't never walking away from my baby. That's the type of shit that have your ass on the first 48 episode. That's the type of shit that had you on the front page of the news. Your child done unalived your ass because you don't understand that when somebody is telling you, okay, to back up off me, back up off them. That demon is telling me, lady, listen, I'm finna get you if you don't go on so well. That's what it's saying. I'm watching you getting more and more bold. Every time you get angry, you get more and more, you punching more and more holes and shit. You grabbing shit, thinking about hitting me in the head with a glass candle? Girl, bye. It's easy as shit for me to walk away. It's like, whatever. Shit, no ma'am. I'm getting, no. And let me tell you, I'm grateful because I feel like my ancestors is the only thing, and maybe my parenting, I don't know. I don't want to toot my horn too much. is the only thing that's stopping this motherfucker from going all the way there. Like, pow pow, bitch. Like that type shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I'm listening. Like, I don't need you to come out and be like, hey, lady, get out of my face and leave me alone, or I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to punch you in your face. I don't need you to say that. Your energy is telling me everything I need to know. It is very easy to walk away from somebody who does not make you feel safe. And if it's not, you need to check yourself. Walking away from somebody that make you feel unsafe should be the easiest decision you ever make. The easiest. It should be so easy to walk away from something. And if it's not, that's a you problem. You got some esteem issues. You need to fix that. Okay? It's entirely, listen, and I don't want this to sound insensitive, okay? I don't want this to sound like I'm blaming anybody for anything. There's a lot of situations, especially with femicide, some of that stuff can be avoided. Listen, rest in peace to every person who experienced anything like that. It's a sad, sad thing. But I'm telling y'all, so many of those situations, y'all, listen, I sit around and watch these stories where women will be like, oh, I was pregnant with his baby. He told me he didn't want the baby. He told me he wanted me to get rid of it. He gave me the money for the board. I was like, no, I ain't going to do it. I went to my mama's house. I stayed away from him. Then he called me and said we want to talk about it. Why you go for? I changed my mind. Oh, I really do want the baby. Come meet me. No is a answer too. You ain't finna sit here and put me through 6 months of hell and tell me how you don't want my child and you gonna unalive me. Cause that's what happened with my second oldest son. They daddy called me FUB. I hope that baby unalive. I hope that baby come out slow. This is his baby. I went smooth when you could not catch me in the presence of him without witnesses. Okay? When I came around him, the dude I ended up marrying was with me. With the blicky on his hip. Okay? You ain't getting me in no motherfucking car to take me to the woods and have your way with me and have me on I shouldn't be alive or some bullshit. Nah. Hell nah. Let me tell you the story about the YouTuber who was stupid enough to go show up. Like, no. Nah, we ain't doing none of that. You want that. You ain't finna sit here and tell me that you hate what's growing inside of my body for 6 months and then think you just about to give me one little phone call, one little text message. Okay, I changed my mind. Boy, bye. I can tell you why you changed your mind because you done figured out how to get rid of me and this motherfucker. I ain't stupid. Excuse me. I'm one of them people. If I walk in a room and the energy tells me that somebody finna do something bad, I leave. And guess what? 95% of the time, something bad end up happening when I leave that room. 95%. That's my accuracy rate. That's how my intuition get down. And my intuition tell me to pack your shit. Don't go down that street, girl. You better listen. Homeboy asking you too many questions. You better block him. Don't you go meet him at that restaurant. I listen. You don't have to. It's your right. You don't have to listen. But I listen. And it has saved me from a lot of heartache and pain and trouble. And I'm pretty sure my own funeral. Okay? The only reason I have not been to my funeral yet, I'm sure, is because I listened to my intuition. Just saying. I'm just saying. That's honest. And I'm sorry if that hurt some people's feelings. I'm sorry if that makes some men feel triggered. Like, oh, here go the women. She always bashing. Ain't nobody trying to bash you. I'm just letting you know. I done been around in some dangerous situations. And my intuition that tells me, no ma'am, don't do that, has saved me. Unfortunately, men happen to be the ones that I needed to be saved from. Sorry. Okay? Just saying. Alright? I'm gonna leave this where it's at. Y'all leave me a comment in the comment section and let me know if y'all like had any type of weird symptoms or anything like this, or any kind of signs or wonders, or if you would like heard stories from your parents or your grandparents about stuff like this. You know how like we all got that one uncle in our family that be like jacked up Like he be the one that run around trying to grape everybody, or it be that one drug addict, or it be that one auntie that be out there twerking ever since 1972. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know if y'all have experienced anything like that, and leave a comment in this comment section. Okay, thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.